Today's transfer spotlight is Tanguy Ndombele. Tanguy Ndombele has arrived at Tottenham's training ground ahead of a club record £65 million transfer from Lyon. Ndombele will sign a 5-year deal with an option for a 6th year, with the deal expected to be concluded later today. His medical began at 9 a.m. this morning at the North London Hospital, and he's arrived at Spurs' Enfield training base in the last hour. Now, we understand his agent, Pini Zahavi, has arrived in London to discuss and chew final details with the Spurs chairman, Daniel Levy, in the next few hours. Real excitement building for Tottenham supporters. My laptop is on fire, and you can understand why. Have a listen to this. It has been so long since Spurs last bought someone. The club's second previous signing saw his contract expire yesterday. Fernando Llorente, Jack Clarke, of course, going back to Leeds on loan. Now, Mauricio Pochettino gave Daniel Levy specific targets, and this man was the top of the list, bold and underlined in terms of preference. It was very important for Spurs to get this done early because he's highly regarded with the top sides in Europe, and it's a real boost just a month after that Champions League final defeat. It's my understanding too he's been very impressed with that training ground, and barring any late hitches, it'll be Tottenham's record signing. Have your say, Tottenham fans. This is how you can get involved.
Just in case anybody's worried, Michael's laptop isn't actually on fire. This might be why some of the top clubs in Europe have been looking at Ndombele, picking the ball up from deep, playing progressive passes there into the final third, and this one actually led to a really good opportunity for France. Again, showing his strength in midfield here, taking it round a player and winning a free kick as well. And for this one, again, on international duty, another example there of his strength and ability to turn away from pressure. A through ball there, which actually led to the ball going in the net, although the goal was disallowed for offside. And then another key component in a Mauricio Pochettino midfield, the tackling that will be on show in that midfield for Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's take a look at how he actually compares to Tottenham's other midfielders. We have got more assists, more chances created as well, more passes into the final third as well, looking at his stats. And it's interesting that a lot of these players that are going for big money in this transfer window are all ball-carrying midfield players. You look at Frankie de Jong, Paul Pogba in this window, highly sought after, Kevin De Bruyne at Manchester City. It is those type of players who are able to turn away from a player, beat the first press and play the ball forward into the final third. Those are the ones that are costing the real big money in this window. Guys, what do we reckon?
Yeah, well, when we told Michael he was going to be in the transfer spotlight this morning, his reaction was, finally. and then we got the Harry Maguire news, and he was dropped, and his face went purple with rage at the fact that he wasn't going to be in the spotlight. So, Michael, you got your moment.
I've got my wish. You guys, you talk away now.
Well, actually,
I'm a very happy man. Very happy man.
Yeah. We're actually going to throw it over to the viewers because we've got some tweets that have come in about this. It's from Samir, who actually says, Bridgie, hope you and the panel are about to give us some good news regarding Ndombele. He is finally flying. Is he finally flying to London and getting that medical done today? Yes. So you have your good news. Chris says transfers for Tottenham are like buses. Wait so long for one, and now it looks like we have two at once. Of course, Jack Clarke has gone straight back out on loan. Dylan says Tottenham need to sign Tanguy Ndombele. It would be a huge statement to the rest of Europe. I'm anxious that Daniel Levy won't sign Ndombele till he offloads Eriksen. Well, there's no update on Eriksen today, so it looks like Ndombele is going to sign before anything happens with Eriksen, if anything happens with Eriksen at all. And Sammy says, hoping to complete our signing of Ndombele soon. Could revolutionise our midfield and looks like a proper talent. Eriksen might be off, but Lo Celso could be a good replacement. That's Celso was formerly at PSG, wasn't he? But moved on last summer. Right, JD, I'm looking at Tottenham's midfield, and where does he fit in? Because
it's congested right now.
Yeah, well, I think it is. Victor Wanyama, Eric Dyer, Harry Winks, Moussa Sissoko plays inside now, and of course further forward you've got Christian Eriksen and Dele Alli. So where does he fit in, and do they need to let one go?
Pochettino has always been one for rotation. You've seen that throughout. He does like to use as many options as he can. Bear in mind, they did lose Moussa Dembele at the end of last season. So there is obviously the space is still there for that. He's always wanted to bring that replacement, and you've seen what Ndombele has done, especially in the Champions League against Manchester City and again against Barcelona. So he's proven that he can produce on the highest stage, and as long as he continues to do that, I'm sure he'll bring those attributes to the Premier League and should be fine. It's good competition. You need that because Spurs are now an elite club in Europe, so they're going to want to compete on all fronts, and by doing that, they're making a great statement to the rest of Europe.
I think the fact that Michael has never been this excited suggests just how big this transfer is.
It's a big
Are
deal.
you disclosing... goodness me, Mark, honestly. I said nothing about your shirt today.
It does. It's another cracker, by the way.
It is,
Anton, it looks like Tottenham are going to get this deal done as long as there's no problems with the medical or the final dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But they're going to get him from Lyon.
Yeah.
And a few players have come in from Lyon, and they haven't been so straightforward, those deals.
No, you think about when Tottenham tried to sign Hugo Lloris a few years ago, and they don't mind going publicly on to try to sort of get other clubs involved, and other clubs were in for Ndombele. He was second on City's hit list for their centre midfield position, and they're trying to get Rodri as their top target. If that had fallen through, they may well have come in for Ndombele. That's why Tottenham wanted to get this deal done early. That's why they've paid the fee that Lyon wanted. As Michael said, top target, top player, and we'll add something different to that midfield. His tackling is absolutely superb. Never mind his box-to-box ability, that gives you an assurance there, and with real dynamism and real pace that maybe the likes of Eric Dyer don't necessarily have. He does bring something different to this team, and Tottenham are looking for those tiny things that can push them into that top two.
Yeah, he does look like a very exciting player. Right, now it's time for Stay or Go, so get your cards ready, transfer team. And the first one, we've got two, we do two every day, and our first one is going to be Chelsea's Kurt Zouma. Stay or Go, everyone?
Oh.
Ooh.
OK, all right, so 2 stays and 2 goes. Michael, why should Kurt Zouma stay? Oh, OK.
I'm a change.
OK, well, why did you change then? Why did you change, JD?
I feel like Kurt Zouma could... He's had those loans away from Chelsea. He's kind of established himself at different clubs, Stoke and Everton, and he's kind of thought to himself, over 100 appearances now in the Premier League, you want to make yourself a home. You want to turn around and make your parent club, the club that you initially, when you moved to England, solidify your position. And with the changes that's happening at Chelsea, obviously the rumours of Lampard, who've actually played together. So Lampard will understand Zouma way more than a lot, for example, a manager that will come in from a foreign export. So I'm telling you now, I can see Kurt Zouma coming in and cementing his place as a Chelsea centre-back.
You said go, though, Anton.
I'd say go, because you look at the centre-backs Chelsea have got. They've given David Luiz a 2-year contract. They've got Rudiger, Christensen. They've got the England under-21 captain and the other player next to him, and Jake Clark-Salter and Fikayo Tomori as well. So they are stacked at centre-back, and he doesn't want to be a progress stopper.
But I'd come to you with experience. I'd come to you with Kurt Zouma over 100 appearances, two different clubs.
But yeah, I bet Kurt Zouma's had his fingers burnt before, and he hasn't got into the team, and he's had to go out on loan. He's had to go to Stoke, and he's had to go to Everton. There's only so much you can do about that. He wants to be in the France team. He wants to be seen as one of Europe's top defenders, and therefore he needs to play every week. And also, Marco Silva is a bit of a centre-back whisperer as well. Look how he's turned Michael Keane's form around. Michael Keane was one of the best defenders in the Premier League last season. He can easily do the same with Kurt Zouma if he gets a run of games.
OK, I tell you what, we're just going to break up there because we've got some breaking news from Everton, and their striker Sandro is in advanced discussion with Real Valladolid with a view to a move to La Liga. Now, remember that it was 2 years ago he joined for Everton. It seemed like it was going to be a really good deal because he only cost about £5 million for a striker who's doing well in La Liga before that, but he just hasn't forced his way into Marco Silva's plans. He was getting starts under Ronald Koeman. He couldn't force his way into Sam Allardyce's plans either. So it makes sense. He's had 2 loan spells, Sevilla and Real Sociedad. It looks like he is going to Real Valladolid. He is in advanced discussions with them. There's time for one more stay or go, though. We've done Kurt Zouma. Let's do... I tell you what, we're dropping down into the Championship, but for a player who could well go to a top 6 team in the Premier League. That player is Jared Bowen of Hull. Should he stay at Hull, or should he go to this, specifically to a club, one of the top 6 clubs?
I've gone...
Oh, 4 goes. Go on then, Michael.
Well, I've gone go because he's very highly regarded. Someone's told me at Hull that when the Premier League clubs and scouts apply for tickets to watch a Hull game, it was all pretty much for Jared Bowen. He's very highly regarded. I know Spurs were looking at him in January, and Hull would probably get a few quid as well. With Grant McCann coming in as the new manager of Hull, I'd probably want to sort his squad out a little bit. and Gerard Bowen offers that bit of value, maybe sort of 10 to 15 million, I'd say. I mean, Mark, you've watched him quite a lot as well in the Football League last season.
Yeah, he's been superb every time I've watched him in the EFL. There was a couple of players I knew at Hull that spoke very highly of him. He had great ability, he had great potential. He's still young as well. But the thing about Gerard was he had the understanding to develop and learn and understand what the manager wanted from him and how to develop him as a player. He takes things on board and he improves week on week. And I think he could be an exciting prospect. Maybe not quite for the Premier League yet, but certainly for the top end of the Championship.
Well, yeah, in that case, it is very difficult to kind of find an argument for him to stay at Hull. I think the only one thing I can think of, just to help Hull fans a little bit, I suppose, is if he does go to a side in the top six, which the question was specifically top six in the Premier League, would he play enough? Could he do another year at Hull? And see how things go in the Championship. But I must admit, it's very hard to go against the go one for that in stay or go.